Welcome back, everyone. You know, we ask you to send us interesting things, and you do not disappoint. This one is a really fun challenge.
Okay.
This is a collection of 100 English sentences. And at first I thought, okay, 100 sentences. But the thing is, these are curated to be useful for anyone from total beginners to, well, you know, advanced speakers like yourself.
Right.
But the sentences themselves aren't even the most interesting part. It's how they're organized. It's like someone gave us a secret map to how we actually learn language.
Like a linguistic time capsule.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
We start with the, essentials to just navigate daily life. If you're dropped in an English-speaking country, these are the phrases you need right off the plane.
You got to be able to function.
Exactly.
Sorry, yeah.
And then as we move through the list, you see how sentences become building blocks. Suddenly, you're not just asking where the bathroom is. You're navigating travel scenarios, business interactions even.
Oh, this is my favorite part.
Yes.
The idioms. Those are what really give English its personality.
So we're going to get to all of that. But I want to start, right at the beginning with those beginner essentials. And some of these, I have to say, it just takes me back.
Yeah.
It's like, excuse me, where is the nearest restroom? I mean, I can practically feel the relief of a lost tourist finding their way.
Oh, absolutely.
But there's more going on here than just asking a question.
100%. Look at that sentence again. Excuse me.
Right.
Even in that very basic request, politeness is already there. It's integral.
I'm sure built in.
Yes. And those beginner phrases, they might seem straightforward, but they're demonstrating just how crucial those social cues are right from the get-go. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it.
Such a good point. Because it really is about understanding, the unspoken rules of communication.
Right.
Even when you're just starting out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, how about this one? Could you tell me how to get to the train station, please? First of all, that please at the end.
Chuckles. It's doing a lot of work.
It is.
But grammatically speaking, we're also seeing what's called a conditional clause. Yeah. Could you tell me? That structure, that implies a request, not a demand.
Right.
And it shows that the speaker is already engaging with the language at a deeper level.
It's more sophisticated. Exactly. Like they don't realize it.
Because they're understanding how to sort of massage the language to get their meaning across more precisely.
I love that. Yeah. So even in these deceptively simple phrases.
Oh, totally.
There are layers of grammar, social understanding. It's all woven in.
It is.
It makes you realize learning a language is not just about, memorizing vocabulary. It's about absorbing all these subtle cues that native speakers, we
take them for granted.
We do.
That's second nature.
Now this next one, it's interesting because it moves us in a slightly different direction. Okay, ready?
Yeah, hit me.
What are your plans for the weekend? Now we're moving beyond basic needs, right? We're getting into the realm of socializing.
Oh, for sure.
And that question, even though it seems simple, it actually speaks volumes about English-speaking cultures. It suggests that, leisure time, catching up, sharing experiences, this is important to us.
It is, yeah. And it indicates that at this level of English, you're not just surviving.
Right.
You're connecting.
Yeah, you're starting to.
You're starting to connect with the culture behind the language.
And it's fascinating to me how a single sentence can do that.
It's true.
Holds so much meaning. But as we go on, things get even more specific.
And that's where it gets really interesting.
Yes.
The list takes this turn and it's like, okay, we're getting specific now.
Yeah.
More specialized situations. Almost like the creators had this, this crystal ball. And they knew exactly where a learner might need, like a linguistic helping hand.
It's like a phrase book, but built in.
Right.
Like, is this seat taken? All of a sudden, that makes so much more sense when I imagine being on a crowded train.
Oh, absolutely.
Or even just, trying to find a seat in a busy coffee shop.
Yep.
And then in a more professional context, can we extend the deadline? Just being able to confidently negotiate something like that, that's where this list goes from being helpful to empowering.
Yeah, it gives you the tools.
Yes.
And it highlights, I think, something that often gets missed in language learning.
Yeah.
Specificity. Instead of just having some general phrase, these sentences really equip you with the precision you need.
For those high-stakes moments.
Exactly. And that just boosts your confidence.
Oh, 100%.
And then you can achieve your goals,
It's like having the right tool for the job.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of tools, a little bit further down on the list, I noticed a section all about politeness.
Oh, interesting.
You know, just those little phrases we use sometimes without even thinking about it.
Right. Wow.
But they can make such a difference in how we come across.
Oh, huge.
So it's a subtle shift in the list, but it's important.
For sure.
Because we go from, you know, those really practical needs to navigating all these like intricacies of social grace.
The nuances, yeah.
Yes. Like instead of just saying goodbye, we have, it was nice meeting you.
Oh, much better.
Right. It seems small, but it carries so much more weight.
It does.
It's like you're leaving this trail of goodwill.
I love that.
I do. I actually read the study once about how people who use those kinds of, you know, affirming phrases, they were consistently rated as more likable.
Oh, interesting.
More trustworthy.
Even if an interaction was brief.
Even if it was, super quick.
Wow.
So it shows, you know, consideration.
Respect.
Yeah.
It goes beyond just like the bare minimum.
Yeah, it's not transactional.
Exactly. And I think that can have such a ripple effect on your relationships.
On how people perceive you.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So again, it just highlights that language isn't just about information.
No.
It's about connection.
How we connect with each other.
And then just when you think you have a handle on things, this list takes like a sharp left turn and dives into the deep end. With these sentences that are as thought-provoking as they are grammatically complex.
I'm intrigued. Give me an example.
Like, how about this? How do you see this project evolving? Now, that's not just a question.
That's a big question.
It's an invitation to think critically, to envision the future.
It implies a certain level of like engagement.
Oh, yeah.
Ownership even. That goes beyond just, you know, following instructions.
You're being asked for your perspective.
Exactly.
To help shape what happens.
I like that. And that must be an amazing feeling for English language learners.
To realize you've reached that level.
To go from, you know, where's the bathroom?
Yeah.
To how do you see this project evolving?
It's quite a journey.
It is. It really shows you the power of language.
And that's just scratching the surface. Now, are you ready for the part of this list that I'm really excited about?
You know, I'm ready.
This is like unlocking secret levels in a language learning game. Idioms, they're quirky, they're confusing, and they always make me smile.
They're the spice of the English language.
They are. And this list has a whole section dedicated to them. Ready for this?
Hit me with it.
Okay, how about, it's raining cats and dogs. Now tell me that doesn't make you scratch your head a little.
Well, when you put it like that, but that's the beauty of idioms, right? You can't just translate them literally.
It's like they have this hidden meaning.
Exactly. They rely on shared imagery, cultural understanding. It could be tricky for language learners to grasp at first.
It's like you're trying to crack a code.
In a way you are. You're trying to decode the culture behind the words.
Okay, get ready for this one. Don't let the cat out of the bag. I mean, what cat? What bag? Where did this even come from?
And yet, most native speakers would have no trouble understanding it means keep a secret.
Exactly. And that's what I love, that moment when the penny drops and you're like, aha, now I get it. It's like you've unlocked a new level of understanding.
It's a very satisfying feeling. And it shows you're not just learning the language, you're connecting with the people who speak it.
You're getting those cultural references, those shared experiences, all wrapped up in a single phrase.
And that's what makes mastering idioms so rewarding. It signals a deep understanding and appreciation for the nuances of English.
It's like you've leveled up your language skills. You know, it makes me think, if we were to create a list like this for someone learning our native languages, what would be on it?
What phrases would we consider essential, not just for practical communication, but for truly connecting with the heart of our cultures?
That's a great question to think about. And it's a great place to wrap up today's deep dive. We've covered so much ground, from those basic beginner phrases to the complexities of idioms and everything in between.
It's amazing how much we can learn from just 100 sentences, isn't it?
It really is. It shows us that language is more than just words on a page. It's a living, breathing thing, full of surprises and delights. So until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and most importantly, keep having fun with language.
Welcome to your deep dive.
Yeah.
Ever wish you could just download fluency in another language? Well, today we're kind of exploring that.
Yeah.
With this fascinating resource.
Yeah.
100 key sentences.
Right.
Designed to unlock everyday English conversation.
Yeah, it's really clever.
Right.
It's a really clever approach, actually. Instead of getting lost in textbooks, we're looking at how people actually talk.
Yeah, like the difference between, studying the map and actually hiking the trail.
Exactly.
We're going to cover a lot of ground today, from beginner phrases to advanced business jargon. But what's fascinating is how these sentences highlight a key principle of language learning.
Confident.
Absolutely.
Right.
Even at the beginner level,
Yeah.
phrases like, can you help me please, aren't just about grammar.
Right.
They're about giving you the tools to navigate new situations and ask for what you need.
It's like having a safety net.
Right. Knowing those basic phrases can make all the difference when you're feeling lost or unsure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of freezing up, you have the words to reach out and connect.
Yeah.
And that's so powerful, especially when you're first starting out.
Absolutely. And as you gain confidence,
Right.
you can move beyond those basic interactions
Yeah.
and start having more meaningful conversations. That's where the intermediate level sentences come in.
Right. Phrases like, what are your plans for the weekend? Or,
Right.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
These might seem simple, but they open the door for expressing opinions and building relationships.
And isn't that what communication is all about?
Exactly.
Like connecting with others,
Yeah.
sharing our thoughts,
Yeah.
and building bridges of understanding.
Absolutely. And as we move into more specialized areas like travel and tourism, these sentences become even more valuable.
Yeah.
Imagine landing in a new country armed with phrases like, can I see your menu, please? Or, how far is it from here?
It's like having a secret weapon against those lost in translation moments.
Yeah.
Instead of fumbling for words,
Exactly.
you can navigate new environments with ease and even a touch of confidence.
And don't forget the power of politeness,
Oh,
which is woven throughout this entire resource.
that's right.
A simple, excuse me, or would you mind if, can go a long way in any language.
It's like that old saying, you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar.
Right.
Right. Politeness is key to smooth and respectful communication.
Absolutely.
But you know what else caught my eye?
What's that?
The business English section.
Oh, yeah.
Suddenly, I felt ready to negotiate a deal or lead a board meeting.
The power of language is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even just reading phrases like, let's schedule a meeting for next week, or I'd like to clarify a few points, can make you feel more confident and in control.
It's like leveling up your communication skills.
Yes.
But it's not just about sounding impressive. It's about being clear, concise, and respectful in a professional setting.
Precisely.
Yeah.
These phrases emphasize professionalism, which is essential in any business context.
Right.
It's about conveying your message effectively and building trust with colleagues and clients.
It's interesting how this resource approaches language learning. Instead of overwhelming you with all the grammar rules,
Right.
it gives you these practical tools, these ready-made sentences to communicate
Yeah.
in different situations.
Yeah, it's like they've distilled
Yeah.
the essence of effective communication into these bite-sized pieces
Right.
that you can then use as building blocks.
And it makes you realize that fluency isn't about memorizing every word in the dictionary.
Right.
It's about having the tools to express yourself confidently in any situation.
Exactly. It's about conveying your message, your intention in a way that connects with the other person.
And that brings us to something that we haven't touched on yet. The advanced level sentences.
Right.
These are where things get really interesting.
Yeah, these are the phrases that demonstrate a deeper understanding of the language.
Right.
They require not only a wider vocabulary, but also a grasp of nuance and context.
Like phrases like, what are the main challenges we're facing? Or, how do you see this project evolving?
Exactly.
Yeah.
These aren't just about getting your point across.
Right.
They're about strategy, leadership, and navigating complex ideas.
It's like graduating from casual conversation to leading a boardroom discussion.
Absolutely.
Right.
These sentences can serve as inspiration.
Yeah.
As goals for your language learning journey, they show you what's possible with dedication and practice.
And speaking of practice,
Yeah.
I'm curious about your thoughts on the idiom section.
Right.
These are often overlooked in language learning,
Yeah.
but they can add so much color and personality to your speech.
Idioms are fascinating because they offer a glimpse into the culture and humor of a language.
Right.
They can make your speech more vivid, more engaging, and even more memorable.
Like instead of saying, it's raining heavily, you could say, it's raining cats and dogs.
Exactly.
It paints such a more vivid picture.
And that's what makes idioms so powerful.
Right.
They create these instant connections in the listener's mind, often through humor or unexpected imagery.
But I imagine using idioms correctly can be tricky.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Context is key.
Okay.
Misusing an idiom can lead to confusion or even unintentionally offend someone.
Oh, right.
So it's crucial to understand the meaning and appropriate usage before throwing them around.
It's like learning a secret handshake.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you're doing it right before you try it out in public.
I love that analogy.
Right.
It's about respecting the nuances of the language and using idioms thoughtfully to enhance your communication, not confuse it.
So for someone new to a language, how would you recommend they approach learning and using idioms?
Start small.
Okay.
Don't try to learn them all at once.
Right.
Focus on a few that resonate with you or that you hear frequently in everyday conversation.
Okay.
Practice incorporating them naturally into your speech and pay attention to how native speakers use them.
It's about finding your comfort level and letting your language skills evolve organically, just like with any other aspect of language learning.
Exactly. Now, circling back to something we discussed earlier,
Yeah.
I want to emphasize the importance of politeness,
Okay.
which is woven throughout this entire list of delundred sentences.
It's true. Even in the business English section, which could have easily focused solely on efficiency,
Right.
there's a clear emphasis on courtesy.
Absolutely.
Right.
Phrases like, thank you for your time, or please let me know if you have any questions. These might seem like small details,
Right.
but they make a world of difference in how your message is received.
It's about recognizing that language is a powerful tool that can be used not just to convey information,
Right.
but also to build relationships, express emotions, and navigate social dynamics with grace and respect.
Precisely.
Yeah,
And this is especially important when you're dealing with cross-cultural communication,
absolutely.
where even small misunderstandings can escalate quickly.
A little politeness goes a long way in smoothing over those potential bumps in the road.
Absolutely. And it all comes back to the power of those 100 sentences.
Right.
They provide you with a framework, a foundation for building your language skills and achieving your communication goals, whether it's ordering a coffee in a foreign country, acing a job interview,
Yeah.
or simply having a heartfelt conversation with someone new.
And you know what's striking to me?
What's that?
How these 100 sentences, while incredibly useful,
Yeah.
are just a tiny fraction of the vast universe of English expressions.
Right.
It really highlights the incredible depth and complexity of language. It really makes you realize how much there is to explore,
Yeah.
even within a single language.
It's like stepping into a vast library with endless shelves of books,
Right.
each one holding new stories and insights.
And the more you explore,
Yeah.
the more you discover those unexpected connections and hidden meanings.
It's a journey that never really ends,
It really isn't.
which is part of what makes language learning so rewarding.
Absolutely. But speaking of rewards,
Right.
as we approach the end of our deep dive,
Yes.
I always like to bring things back down to earth with some actionable takeaways for our listener.
Excellent point. We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
So let's distill it into some practical advice.
I think the biggest takeaway is this.
Yeah,
Don't just memorize these 100 sentences. Use them.
exactly.
Like, make them your own.
Practice them in front of the mirror
Yeah.
with a language partner, even just in your head while you're going about your day.
Totally.
The key is to integrate them into your daily life, to make them second nature.
Right. And don't be afraid to experiment.
Oh, yeah.
Like, tweak them, adapt them to different situations,
Exactly.
and see what works for you.
It's all about finding your own voice within the language.
And remember, mistakes are inevitable.
Oh, yeah.
Embrace them.
Absolutely.
They're not failures. They're learning opportunities.
Those oops moments are often the most valuable part of the process.
I think so too.
Absolutely. And finally,
Yeah.
remember the power of consistency.
Yes.
Even dedicating just a few minutes each day to practicing these sentences can make a world of difference over time.
It's like building any skill.
Right.
Consistency is key.
Now, before we wrap up our deep dive,
Yes.
we always like to leave our listener with a final thought-provoking question,
Okay.
something to ponder as they continue their language learning adventure.
I like it. What is it?
So here's our challenge for you. If you could add to this list of 100 sentences,
Okay.
what phrases or expressions would you include?
Oh, that's a good one.
What words or phrases would empower you to navigate the situations
Right.
that matter most in your life?
Let that question be a springboard for your own exploration and discovery.
Because ultimately, the most powerful language is the language that allows you to express your unique self with confidence and authenticity.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Happy language learning, everyone.
Until next time.